1 year ago, Zimbabwean football entered a new chapter. A chapter defined not by slogans, but by a promise to restore trust, rebuild systems, and reposition football as a force for national pride and development. It's now been a year since ZIFA President Nqobile Magwizi and his executive committee assumed office at the Zimbabwe Football Association. Guided by a clear manifesto and 5 strategic pillars, this leadership set out to stabilize the institution and lay foundations for the re-emergence of Zimbabwean football and sustainable progress. Mr. President, 1 year into your term, when you pause and you reflect on the journey so far, what stands out the most for you?
Thank you very much, Mike. What stands out for me is the depth and the weight of the expectation from the Zimbabwean football family. When we started out, we knew that Zimbabwe has not done what has been expected football-wise over the past 2-3 decades. And we made the point that would sit down and frame a vision that speaks to the expectations of the football-loving Zimbabweans. They were asking for seriousness in how we conduct football business. They were asking for structure. They were asking for integrity. They were asking for transparency. We're all aware of this. But of course, we knew this journey needed us to take the responsibility seriously.
Was there a moment early on in your tenure where sort of like the scale of the task became very clear to you?
The scale was always clear, Mike. I think even when we started out with our campaign, we had done a lot of groundwork to understand the shortcomings that had for a very long time affected football in Zimbabwe. So we had taken time. Of course, what we had not expected were the internal fights that come along with leading football. We had not expected that they would be as deep as they turned out to be. That we did not expect. But in terms of what was required in building football, what was required in transforming the football ecosystem in Zimbabwe, I think we're more or less on point. But of course, it was the issue of now coordinating all the stakeholders with different expectations, bringing them to a place whereby they see the same vision as the executive committee. I think that was where we realized that there was a lot more we needed to do with our stakeholders.
Right, Mr. President, let me take you back to your campaign manifesto, in which you clearly outlined 5 strategic pillars. And I think one of the core ones, if not the first one, was the need that you postulated to build a strong institution. Why was that the starting point?
Now, a strong institution is the bedrock of any other activities which the organization may find itself doing, and any other success that you may want to achieve will be premised on this strong institution. The predictability that it brings around, its credibility, its ability to draw stakeholders to a common purpose, its ability to get sponsors. We felt that a strong institution will allow ZIFA to be able to achieve any of its ambitions. Once it's a respected institution, it's held in high esteem as a credible, transparent, accountable institution, we knew that going forward, it would be easy to even talk about having strong partners, having a viable commercial framework, having talent, having the trophies we desire to have. Well,
sometimes this work, especially in football where perception is important, a lot of this work isn't always visible to the fans.
Absolutely. It's often invisible because the work that happens in the background, the fans will not see it. What the fans see is the scoreline when the Warriors play, when the Mighty Warriors play. That's what the fans see. A lot of the groundwork needs time. You need to get strong administrators in place. You need to get strong coaches in place. You need to ensure that there is the resources to get teams to get to competitions. All this groundwork has to take place. But before you get the resources, you must make sure that you have the partners who believe in the institution to fund it for you to achieve all these many things you want to achieve, which eventually will be seen by the fans.
So this institutional stability, have you seen it now beginning to pay dividend?
Absolutely. I think we've begun to see some meaningful progress in that area. The number of partners that have begun to come around, we are very happy with that. Our relationships with FIFA and CAF, our regulators, has become very good. We are working very well with the government of Zimbabwe, and we are very happy with that. Even stakeholders, the clubs, our affiliates, those relationships, they're getting stronger and stronger because they can see the direction in which we are moving in. And they believe, being our partners, they believe that we're destined for something great.
I love the fact that you've touched on partnerships,
Yes.
and that was your second pillar.
Yes.
And how crucial or how important have these partnerships been to progress so far?
Football, by its very nature, succeeds or grows in partnerships. In the absence of partnerships, it's impossible. It's impossible to get any meaningful growth in football. The world over, you would see that it's the corporates that are partnering the associations, the government that is partnering the associations. So what we've seen right now happening in Zimbabwe is that the partners are beginning to come on board, and we've begun to see some growth. For instance, Bank IBC coming on board, EcoBank coming on board, the UNFPA has come on board. We've also begun to see partners like Fome, Better Brands. All these partners are coming on board to add value in different areas. And we have begun to see some meaningful work happening at grassroots level, in junior football level, as well as the elite level. There's a lot of activity taking place. So we are very confident in the path we have taken.
And how do these partnerships translate into real impact for the association?
I'll give you for an example. We recently signed a partnership with FIFA CIS and MSU. I think earlier on in 2025, we had signed a memorandum of understanding with MSU, and the thinking then was to capacitate our administrators. We realized some of the problems that clubs are facing, our affiliates are facing, is because the administrators, they are doing the best they could, but they didn't have adequate knowledge to transform football in Zimbabwe. And we realized that partnership with MSU, who have various campuses across the country, partnership with FIFA CIS, will allow us to get as many administrators as possible equipped with the necessary know-how of how to run sport in Zimbabwe, more so run football. So we have now begun to see that that knowledge, transforms the football ecosystem slowly but surely.
Yeah, I've heard you say in a few of your speeches that if you don't know that you don't know, you don't know that you don't know.
Absolutely.
Do you feel that has been a major challenge with sort of like people who are in the sports sector, that sometimes it's a question of exposure?
It's a question of exposure. And the good thing is that a lot of the football lovers, they're very sincere in their love for football. And unfortunately, when they lack the exposure in respect of maybe administration, but yet they are sincere about it, and they are very emotionally engaged to the sport. They will do whatever it takes to argue their point, but based on the limited information they have. But with that sort of passion, you equip that person with adequate information, they will do amazing work for the growth of football. So that has been the journey that we said, look, let's take all our stakeholders on that journey, let's take our administrators on that journey, so that they have more information on what's required, more information on what can be done to strengthen football in Zimbabwe. And I believe these results will start to show very soon. We'll start to see the impact of the programs that we have rolled out.
Previously, you touched on some of the corporates that have come on board to
Yes.
partner ZIFA, something which was unheard of If you take a look at Zimbabwean football over the last 2-3 decades, you can only count maybe on one hand the partners that have come on board. Yet we've seen several corporate partners come on board over the past year. What role are they playing for the association?
We are grateful, Mike. We are very, very grateful to the partners who have come on board, and the role they play is massive. Some of them are helping us with the funding the programs that keep the association going. The government facilitates a lot of the things that we are trying to do as a partner. We work well with them. Sometimes issues to do with funding, approvals, certain paperwork that is required when our teams are moving efficiently is being done. You look at partners like EcoBank. As we went for the AFCON, it was a difficult time at that time before we had spoken to them, but when they came on board, even our new kits, were done in record time, and we presented a good account of ourselves in Morocco. And these partners, they are coming at convenient times. Then you can look at UNFPA. We are looking at issues to do with the social welfare of our players, the young children, the issues of safeguarding. Very, very critical, because this is a whole ecosystem that is concerned about development, about mental wellness of the children, concerned about technical expertise. So all these matters, when partners come, they strengthen our ability to achieve our vision.
Well, you talked about funding, Mr. President, and one of your key pillars in your manifesto centered around commercializing the sport in Zimbabwe. And what are your thoughts around that, the progress you have made so far, and why commercializing the game is key to its long-term future?
We've made significant progress, Mike. You remember we launched a brand called Warrior Pride. The thinking there was we must create our own products as part of our commercial strategy, create our own products, and the brand has been successful. Of course, it needs to be taken to the next level. We are in the process of getting various Zimbabweans to apply for the licenses. So in the next few months, we will have license holders who are producing different artifacts on behalf of the association. These artifacts, of course, will be sold to the market, and that is one commercial venture that I believe can help. But there's a whole lot of other relationships we have created, commercial relationships. And I think what is important is raising enough resources on our own to be able to fund certain programs where partners may not be available. It's difficult to plan for the future when all your plans are premised on getting resources from partners. Yes, we respect the partners, but it's important that we can also guarantee certain cycles of our programming based on funds we raise on ourselves by ourselves to ensure that the desired growth, the desired plans are actually made to come alive.
Well, you keep mentioning the issue, of course, of the association raising funds, and I thought it may be really important to just clear the air on this one, because there's often a view out there that the funding that comes in from FIFA, that comes in from CAF, is enough and more than enough to cover the activities of an association. What are your thoughts on that?
We are grateful to FIFA and CAF for the support. They continuously give. They organize good competitions and good legacy programs. It's commendable. But the resources that come from them are never enough to grow football in any jurisdiction. They are never enough. It's support. I'll give you an example. FIFA annually for operations, they will give the association about 1,250,000 for the year. That money helps, but it's supposed to help with the salaries. It's supposed to help with all the expenses to run the association. The programs we have on 1.2 million running an association that is national with the many affiliates we have, that money would never be enough. So it is important, I think, of course, for the football loving Zimbabwe to know that the money is not even adequate to cover the year for the expense of the association. Then we need more money to come in to cover the various programs, because we have competitions that are happening. Right now we've introduced a more aggressive program on our youth, on the grassroots. Fortunately, BC has come. But still, there'll be need for more resources, because football is always a growing sport. It's always a growing sport right across the country.
The fourth pillar, Mr. President, which obviously I think again bears a relationship to commercialization, is infrastructure and technology.
Yes.
You take a look at the Zimbabwe Football Association at the moment. What progress have you made in that regard as far as that pillar is concerned?
I think infrastructure is critical in the growth of football. We have already started different programs, I think with FIFA, to see how best we could get more pitches done here. There's the FIFA Arena program we are working on. In the next few months, we will probably have a pitch in Raren 1 in Blawayo. But of course, we are looking at the stadia. There is work that has been ongoing at the National Sports Stadium with the government of Zimbabwe leading the process. And we are very hopeful that within the next 3 months, the contractors will be ready, would have delivered the stadium to the government. But we've also seen a lot of other interesting projects coming along. There is Chawanda Stadium, which is which is being built in Kwekwe. In the next 2 to 3 months, I'm hopeful that again that can be commissioned and teams can be playing in that stadium. There is also a few clubs that have come to us as ZIFA and they've put their hands up to indicate that they will be building stadium. We have Scotland that are looking to be building a stadium, and we are very happy with that. But over and above that, the government of Zimbabwe is also committed to build another stadium in Mount Hamden, and this I'm hoping that will happen sooner rather than later. But I believe that within the next few years, we should have adequate stadiums to host even a continental tournament.
Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of fans certainly would be happy with the return of senior football to Zimbabwe. But over the last, I think at the back end of the year 2025, we saw ZIFA host a couple of international tournaments at youth level. Yes. So though our stadiums may not qualify to host the senior matches, but at youth level, we've been able to host these tournaments. Why was it important for Zimbabwe to host these tournaments?
Well, very, very important to stress the point that it is a journey that you want to demonstrate your intention. It's a journey that when people begin to see where, as an association, we are trying to go, they'll come on board to support that vision. Last year, we had 2 tournaments we held. One was for the under-17 boys. The other one was the Gift Cup for girls. And both of these, brought in more than 12 countries into Zimbabwe. A demonstration of our ability to host big tournaments. And of course, a demonstration that Zimbabwe is indeed serious, playing its part in the growth of football, even in the region. So it is important, I think, that we remain on that trajectory where when opportunities come to host, we do host, but we also strengthen our systems, our processes, we strengthen them, because that can only help us become better in the football ecosystem and in the global football family.
Yeah, and Mr. President, the biggest talking point, I think, for a lot of football fans will always center around what happens on the field of play.
Sure.
And you had as one of your pillars technical prowess.
Yes.
What has been your summation of the 12 months that you have been in charge as far as our on-field ability is concerned?
I think about the last 12 months, we realized that we had no clear pathways for talent, beginning in the grassroots, going to the junior, and then to the elite. There was no clear pathway. A lot of the talent that was being used in the national teams is talent that was scouted for haphazardly, and that is not sustainable. And of course, pillar number 5 was speaking to how we can transform Zimbabwean football from a place where we have not done so well on the field of play, we have not trophies to speak for us, how do we transform Zimbabwe? And we said, look, we need to get to a place where we can be technically strong as a country. But the process does not start with the national teams. It must start at the bottom, in your under 13s, under 15s, under 17s. And the pathway must continue to under 20s, under 23s, then to the senior, to the elites. And that is the deliberate progression that we've taken as an association. That we must strengthen our talent, but that does not happen by itself. You now need to be training the coaches. The coaches must be well trained to be able to deliver the desired quality of football right across the ecosystem. Hence, you've seen the number of CAF D courses we've done. We are now approved to coach even CAF B. In the next few months, we should be able also to start coaching CAF A. And by doing so, we are guaranteeing ourselves of consistent quality, a similar or a seamless football football syllabus that we can introduce right across the full ecosystem. And when that happens, it will start to reflect on the field of play. Maybe it will take us another 2 or 3 years to be able to show for it, but right now the process is taking place.
Well, the processes have started, Mr. President. What of the teams that are currently in action? We know that football never stops; it never sleeps. So there will be competitive matches for national teams. There'll be friendly matches for national teams. What sort of support have you given to our national teams? Even though while you're rebuilding from the bottom up, what are you doing for them now?
So, in the past 12 months, we've made sure that no window will pass without our teams playing. Last year, we played 2 matches during the FIFA window in June. We went to Morocco and we had 2 matches there. We then went on to play in November in Saudi Arabia. We played Algeria and went to Qatar and played Qatar. I think it was important to get our teams to play. But additionally, we also had an opportunity to send our women, the Mighty Warriors, to the 3 nations in Malawi, where they did very, very well. But what we have resolved to do as an executive committee is to make sure that every opportunity to play for our teams, they will play. In total, we played about 44 matches. Our teams played about 44 matches, something that has never happened before. So we have made sure that the games are available, even the travel arrangements, the logistics. There's been a marked improvements. And the team at ZIFA, the Secretariat, is doing such a fantastic job in ensuring that we are planning ahead. We're no longer looking to our calendar in the next 2 or 3 months. We're looking to our calendar in the next 15, 18 months. That's what we're looking to, so that we can plan adequately and be prepared to participate in the various tournaments, be prepared to participate in the various programs that may be coming through either from CAF or from FIFA. But it allows us to make our players more confident of the association. When they do that, when that happens, they are also more confident on the field of play. So we've been really moving this journey carefully to just give assurances to all the key stakeholders, key among them being our players, that we are building a strong association.
Mr. President, women are often, I think, a subject in football. And when people talk about women's football in Zimbabwe, often it's with the accusation that the association does not pay due attention or does not give them the same treatment as the men get.
Yeah, nothing could be further from the truth, Mike. I think this administration, the executive committee and myself, we have made a deliberate strategy. Deliberate effort has been put in place to make sure that women football become very top of mind in all our programming. I'll tell you, in February of last year, women played in Angola. They went to Angola, our Mighty Warriors, as the flagship for women. And then they went on to play in South Africa. Our first responsibility was to make sure that they are adequately resourced. Even the allowances were attended to. their logistics adequately attended to. But this is just what is expected of an association. So there is deliberate planning that is going around all our teams, but women are taking center stage in the new ZIFA executive. We put in place the women's strategy, which we launched in November of last year, thanks to FIFA and CAF, who were part of the process. We have a clear strategy of what must be done to grow women football. And we are already in the process of implementing that strategy. Recently, you noticed that women are participating in all the competitions that they must participate. You will notice that the logistics behind women are similar to what you would find in men, if not better, because we value the girl child. We have programs that which have introduced, which will be introduced, some of them not yet introduced, but these programs pay attention to men and women in equal measure. And the deployment of resources, there is no where you will find more resources being deployed to one gender more than the other. So we have been very deliberate over the past 12 months, and this is going to be the same approach going into 2026 and 2027 and 2028.
Earlier on, you talked about partners, you talked about, corporates that have come on board. Are there any special stakeholders that you would wish to acknowledge who have played a critical role in your first year in office?
Well, I would like to sincerely thank His Excellency, Dr. Emerson Dambuzo Mnangagwa, for his continued support of sport and football. You know, when we went to Morocco, he was very instrumental in supporting his team. And even the performances by the boys in Morocco and the stability which the squad had, you could credit to His Excellency for his involvement and his support. I also would like to thank the Ministry of Sports, Recreation, Arts and Culture, of course, and the Sports and Recreation Commission. They've been very, very, very helpful in all our planning, in all the programs we have presented to them. We've received only but support, strong support from them. We also want to thank, I think, the national leadership of football across Zimbabwe, the chairmen in the various regions, in the various provinces, in the area zones. They've been very cooperative. We've been working closely together. It's been such an amazing journey over the past 12 months. A lot of learning that we've had to go through as an executive committee. And it's humbling to be surrounded by people that are passionate about football, that are willing to speak to you, that are willing to guide you where you are, who are willing to give you the support. Sometimes they give you the support when you are not expecting it, and when it comes, it's so timely. Football progress is strongest when everybody is working together, and I'm privileged to be leading Zimbabwean football with a lot of support coming from various stakeholders. And I pray this is going to be a continuous journey, and the ambitions that Zimbabweans have in respect to the growth of football may be realized soon and very soon.
And what message would you leave the Zimbabwe football family as you enter the second year of your tenure at the helm of Zimbabwe football?
Well, to the football family, I would like to say the foundation has been laid. The journey continues. Progress requires patience, unity, and accountability. We remain committed to serving football with integrity and humility and with purpose. Zimbabwean football has immense potential. All over Africa, they know the talent that Zimbabwe has. And together, I believe we will continue to unlock this talent and at one point achieve major trophies as a nation.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
1 year on, and it seems Zimbabwean football is no longer defined by uncertainty, but by direction. The work continues, but the foundations appear stronger, the vision clearer, and belief is steadily returning. For the Zimbabwe Football Association, this is Mike Madoda.